Hello children. The last class we have learned about the circle, large circle and stir loop. How do we write towards end of side? Last class లో ఏం నేర్చుకున్నాం మనము? సర్కిల్ ఎస్ కానీ లార్జ్ సర్కిల్ కానీ లూప్ కానీ స్టర్ లూప్ కానీ ఎన్ హుక్ తర్వాత వచ్చినప్పుడు ఎలా రాయాలి మనం నేర్చుకున్నాం. ఓకే, ఇది ఈ చాప్టర్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి రూల్స్. మనకి రూల్స్ కావాలి కదా, రూల్స్ అలాగే దానికి సంబంధించి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అంటే మన నోట్స్, ఇది మన థియరీ నోట్స్. దిస్ ఇస్ ద థియరీ నోట్స్. యూ కెన్ ఈవెన్ రైట్ ఇన్ యువర్ notebooks also. It will help you in the examination. Okay, they'll be asking the question how circles, a large circle and loop are they're employed towards end of side, or how circles and loops are employed to hook n. Number one is the sound of s or sis or st or stir to straight strokes hooked for n. How do we write? Is written towards n hook side. Already we have learned some words. Okay. Example, pen. Now this is only n hook to straight stroke. Pen. How do we write? P and n hook. But pens, here the circle is coming after n. How do we write? Pens. Turn the circle towards n hook side. P, N and close the circle towards n hook. Okay, pens. Dance. See, now here dances. We get the sound of sis after n. How do we write? Dances. Large circle after n hook. How do we write? Right circle, large circle towards n hook side. Close. Danced. After n hook, we are getting the sound of st. How do we write? Turn st loop towards n hook side. This is n hook side. D and st loop towards n hook side. If we turn st loop with left motion, it gives the sound of st only. So it will become dust. Okay. So turn the st loop towards n hook side. That means with the right motion. Done. Stir. See, after n, we are getting the sound of stir. Turn this stir towards n hook side. Done. Stir. Next point. The heavy sound of ends to curve strokes. If we get the sound of ends, heavy sound of ends only to curve strokes, we write the circle of ZS or Z is small circle, isn't it? So we write the circle inside the hooks, inside the n hook to all curve strokes. Example, fine. How do we write fine? F and n hook is fine. Suppose fines, heavy sound of ends. How do we write? We write the circle inside the hook, n hook. Okay. Now, the heavy sound of ends to curve strokes is written inside the n hook. Example, fine, but fines. We don't call it as fines. Ends. Okay. Shines. Shine, but shines. Shine is n hook. Ish and n. But shines, add circle is to n hook. Okay. Don't close the circle. We have to see the circle as well as the n hook. Okay. If you close the circle, what happens? It will become shies. Okay. Ish and s. See, if you close the circle is completely, we hear the sound of only s. Okay. But here, we have to see n hook as well as circle. చూడండి, circle completely close చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? షైజ్, మనకి ఎస్ సౌండ్ మాత్రమే వస్తుంది, ఎన్ కనిపించదు. ఎన్ కూడా కనిపించాలి అంటే we want to see the stroke sound of n and circles, write the circle inside the hooks to curve strokes for heavy sound of ends. Okay. Now, whereas a light sound of ends, fence, tens, mins, lands, ebens, how the sound is coming? Ends. So the sound of ends to curve strokes is written with stroke n and circle s, and the heavy sound of ends is written inside the n hooks. Okay, that's the difference. Where a light sound of ends to curve strokes hooked for n is written with stroke n and circle s. Stroke n and circle s. చూడండి, fence, light గా వినిపిస్తుంది కదా సౌండ్, fence. ఎలా రాయాలి? stroke n and circles. F, stroke n and circles. Alage tens, ith, stroke n and circles. Tens. But here, fines. Got the difference? Fines is heavy sound. Tens is light sound. Okay. Two straight strokes hooked for F. How do we write F or V hooks to straight strokes? With left motion. That means opposite to L. Opposite to L, we hear the sound of, or we read the sound of F or V. Two straight strokes. Two straight strokes hooked for F or V. The circle is written inside the hooks. Why? Because we have to see the F hook as well as the circle. Okay, if we close the circle completely towards F hook side, what happens? Circle S. Okay, మనము F hook వైపు circle close చేస్తే ఏం సౌండ్ వినిపిస్తుంది? మనకి సర్కిల్ ఎస్ మాత్రమే వినిపిస్తుంది. మనకి సౌండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎఫ్ వినిపించదు, కనిపించదు. ఓకే, చూడండి. పఫ్, పి ఇక్కడ ఎఫ్ కు రాస్తాం. పి అండ్ ఎఫ్ కి ఇస్ పఫ్. బట్ పఫ్స్, హౌ డు వి రైట్? We have to write the circle inside the hook. Inside the hook. So that hook and circle is same. Clear? Waves. How do we write wave? Stroke wave and V hook. But waves. Write the circle inside the hooks. Okay? Now, in the middle of a word. In the middle of a word. Word majlo. If we hear the sound of ns or ns, is written with the help of stroke n and circles. Okay, for both the sounds, for heavy sound of ns and light sound of ns, is written with stroke n and circles. Example: density and cleanser. Cleanser, we are getting the sound of ns here. Okay, but here we get the sound of ns. Clear? Now we practice some outlines related to this chapter in order to avoid confusion. Right? We write some words now. Now, how do we write pounds? How many strokes we hear? Pounds. P and N and S. How do we write S here towards N side? How? Write pound, pen or pound. What is the difference? Pen means we place a vowel A. Pounds is we write out diphthong. Right? P, N and S. Pounds. Ow is third place diphthong. So we write the outline through the line. P through the line, circle, NS. We turn the circle towards N side. So we get the sound of N's, pounds. Now, pounces. What's the difference? Here, after N, we get the sound of S. The second word, after N, we hear the sound of ses. Right last circle towards N side. Pounces. P, last circle, ses. Pounces. Okay. Pounced. After enoch, we are hearing the sound of ensed. Either st or sd, we write the same loop. Okay. Now, pounced. How do we write? P and st loop written towards enoch side. Okay. After n, circles. After n, last circle. After n, st loop. Clear? Now 10. Simple. T and enoch. T and enoch is 10. Now tens. After n, circles. After n, small circles. Now retains. Retains. How do you write? Retain and circles. Close the circle. Retains. Cleanse. Sound the word cleanse. We are getting the sound of ends. How do we write? We are getting the sound of ends here. Okay? Cleanse. Cleanses. Cleanses. Glance. Gull. Ends. Glance. Glances. Gull. This is enoch side. Turn. That's it. Glances. Okay. Glanced. N and stilo. Gull and stilo. Glanced. Okay. Turn. steel hook towards N hook side. Now, learn. How many strokes we have? Learn. L, R and N. Which R do we write? Write downward R and C. Learn. L, R and N. You don't write. Learn. L, Ray and N. L, Ray and N. Learn. Learns. L, Ray and turn S towards N hook side. L, Ray and turn circle towards N hook side. Learns. Chief. How do we write chief? J and F hook. How do we write F hook to straight strokes? With left motion. J and F. Chief. If chiefs, F tarvata maniki sound of S is coming. How do we turn S? J and S. Now what happens? I have written circle S towards F hook side. See, if I close the circle completely, it gives the sound of cheese, only S. Okay, F hook is not seen. So, this is wrong. Chiefs means F hook is also seen inside the circle. Chief, G, F hook and circles. Manaki F hook kanpichali and circles kuda kanpichali. Okay. Now, refine. What are the strokes we hear? Refine. Now, which R to be written? A-R rayali manamu. Refine. Re. There is a vowel after R. So, naturally, we write upward R. Now, refine. F and N. Re, F and N. Refine. Okay. Now, refines. Heavy sound of N's. Refines. How do we write? Refines. Write the circle inside the hook. N hook. Refines. Okay. N hook is also same. N kuda kanpichali. Now, essence. Sound change the word. S, ends. Do we write circle S here? Can we write circle S? Because S is coming starting. Do we write small circle and place the vowel to circle S? A. Circle S rasi A vowel pedtama? Pettamu. Ella rayali? S. S mundu manaki vowel undi kabatti stroke S rastam. Now write S. Only S. Only S we write. How do we write? We don't write small circle and place first place, second place, third place vowel. We don't write. Now S means stroke S. Why? Because there is vowel before S. We write stroke S. S. Now ends. N and circle S. Stroke N and circle S. S ends. S ends. The same way, essences. What do you hear? The sound of large circle. S, N and sis. How do you write S? With stroke S. S, N, large circle. S, N, sis. Okay. Prove. How do we write prove? What are the strokes or what are the sounds we hear? మనకి ఏం సౌండ్స్ వినిపిస్తున్నాయి ప్రూవ్ లో? F కని V కని సేమ్ హుక్. ఓకే, హౌ డు వి రైట్ ప్రూవ్? పర్ అండ్ V hook. How do we write V hook? With left motion. Prove. F or V hook is the same. Prove. Now, proves. How do we turn circle S? If I close the circle like this, it becomes proves. F hook is not seen. Okay? F hook kuda kanpichali ante ela rayali? Circle S, hook lopala rayali. Okay? We have to write the circle inside the hooks. But this is R hook. Prove. This is V hook. Prove. Now write the circle inside the hook. Over proves. We can see V hook as well as the circle. Okay. If you close the circle completely, it becomes S because circle is written with left motion to all straight strokes. Okay. But whereas proves, we have to see hook, F hook and circles. So write the circles inside the hooks. Okay. Now behave. 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 Be. Now here in this word, behave, we write B. Okay. How do we write have? H-A-V-E. Behave. How do we write? This is B. Now H circle ela turn cheyali. How do we turn H circle here? Okay. H circle is, we write circle and then go upward for hey, isn't it? So if we turn the circle as like this and V hook, behave, F is, we write F hook, behave, we write V hook here. Okay? But if we turn this circle of H like this, manamu H circle, B rasam kada, this is B. Now hey means we have to write hey. Which hey do we write? Can we write downward H and C? Is it possible? See, behave, B and write downward H. We don't write. We can't write downward H. Not possible. So, upward H only we have to write. Ela rayali, upward H matrame rayali. Ela rastamu manamu? Behave, be rasamu and have, circles and ray. Idem avutundi. H circle, if you turn like this, it's looking like circles and ray. Isn't it? How do we write observe? How do we write observe? O-B-S-E-R-V-E. Observe. Ella rastamu. Enni sounds vastunayi manaki? Observe. B, serve. Circles, ray and V. B, circles, ray and V. Observe. See? B, circles and ray. Observe. But behave. Can you see any difference here? Observe and behave are looking alike, same. So we don't turn the circle, now this circle S of H like this. H circle, we don't write like this. Observe, we write like this. But behave, we turn the circle of H with left motion. Behave. So, behave circle. The circle of H, we don't turn like this. Or we can't write downward H. Okay. So, behave. The circle of H is turned with left motion. Now, you see the difference? This is observe. B, S and ray. Kada? H circle manam ila turn cheste em avutundi? Adi circle is ray avutundi. Andukani H circle manamu ila turn chestam with the left motion. Behave. Okay. ఇది రాస్తే S ray అవుతుంది. ఇలా కూడా మనం రాయకూడదు. డౌన్వర్డ్ హెచ్ కూడా రాయకూడదు. ఓకే. ఇది అబ్జర్వ్ అవుతుంది. హెచ్ సర్కిల్ మనం ఇటువైపు టర్న్ చేస్తే ఎస్ అండ్ రే అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి ఇలా కూడా రాయకూడదు. ఇది అబ్జర్వ్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ దిస్ ఇస్ బిహేవ్. ద సర్కిల్ ఆఫ్ హెచ్ ఈస్ టర్న్ టువర్డ్స్ లెఫ్ట్ మోషన్. క్లియర్? నౌ బిహేవ్స్. జస్ట్ యాడ్ ఎస్ టు ఎఫ్ హుక్. Behaves. How do we write? Be, he, we and circles. Behaves. Now, transit. How many sounds we hear? Transit. Where is the sound of ends is coming? In the middle of a word. See? Trans. Ter, N and circles and T. How do we write? Tran. Do we write like this? Do we write like this? Transit? No. In between, in the middle of a word, we hear the sound of N's. How do we turn? We write stroke N and circle S. Okay? We don't write like this. So, transit, T, stroke N, circle S and T. Transit. Okay? మధ్యలో వర్డ్ మధ్యలో మనకి ఎన్ఎస్ సౌండ్ వినిపిస్తే ఎన్స్ కానీ ఎన్స్ కానీ we write stroke N and circle S. Okay? Transit. Densely. చూడండి. Dense. Again, we are hearing the sound of N's where in the middle of a word. How do we write? Densely. D, N, circle S and L downwards because L follows the direction of the circle. Okay? Ella really dense. The right dense. Normally dense. We write dense like this. Dense, dance, pen, pens. Okay? Now densely. Do we write L like this? D, L. If we write D, S, small circle will not turn or will not seen properly. So, D and S, circle S, become dense. Now, L means we don't add this upward L circle. See, it will come like this. So, this way we don't write. We write full outline. How? D, N, circle S and L. Densely. After circle, L follows the direction of this circle. Now, circle S is written like this. Circle S ఇలా రాస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి L మనము డౌన్వర్డ్ రాస్తాం. అంటే L స్ట్రోక్ L సర్కిల్ S ఎలా రాస్తామో అదే డైరెక్షన్ లో మనము L రాస్తాం. either upward కావచ్చు, downward కావచ్చు. L follows the direction of the circle either written upwards or downwards. Example, muscle. How do we write muscle? M, S and circle S. Circle stroke L is going upwards. Why? Because the circle S is written with a left motion, right motion. Now L follows the direction of the curve. L is written upwards. Densely. Circle S is written like this. Now L comes downwards. Okay. Button. Button. Sound the word. B, T and Enoch. How do we write Enoch? B, T and Enoch. Button. T and Enoch. If buttons turn circle S towards Enoch side. After N, we hear the sound of S. Okay. Now, buttons. B, T, Enoch and close the circle. We close the circle completely towards Enoch side. Okay. Natives. Natives. How do we write natives? N, T and native. V hook. Okay. N, T and V hook. Native. Okay. T and V hook. How do we write? Prominence. How many strokes we hear? Prominence. Pro is initially we are getting the sound of per. Prominence. 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 Okay. Suppose brain. How do we write? How do we write brain? We all have brains, isn't it? How do we write? Burr. How do we write burr? How R hook is written to straight strokes with right motion. Right bray. This is bray. Now, how do we write Enoch? This is Enoch. Okay, brain. How do we write brains? Brain. Close the circle completely towards Enoch side. Okay, fluff. Club. How many strokes we here? Cull and V. Cull and V. Clubs. Sound the word? Clubs. Cull and V. How to write V hook? Opposite to L hook. How do you write L hook? With left motion. Circles. So both F hook and circle S is same. Did you understand? So these are the rules. And even we have grammar locks in this chapter. Please open the textbook and practice grammar locks as it is, because grammar locks play a very important part in English matter. If you are thorough with grammar locks and learn all these words, speed writing is very easy. Okay? Now please, I have shown you the difference between circle S and circle is coming after N. Large circle and large circle coming after N. St loop and stir loop. Simple st and st and sd or stir coming after N. How do we write? I have shown you the words. Please practice the words exercises. First, understand the rules. Copy down all the rules with examples. Read it, understand it. Then practice the words exercises given in your textbook. Then go for grammar locks. After the words and grammar locks are completed, go for paragraphs. Look at the time and write the paragraphs. Number of times you write it. Okay. Keep always the watch in front. Write the dictation. Write the matter. And then look after the time. Within how many minutes you are able to write. Okay. After writing the paragraph, watch the time. Within how many minutes you are able to write. This is the correct time to gain speed. Okay. Already the paragraphs are started from circle S and Z chapter. Okay. The first chapter means it's a first time practice. Naturally, it will be slow. When all these words are practiced, okay, then the paragraph will be very easy, because the paragraph given will cover all the words of this chapter and previous chapter's words. So always be there with all the chapter's words, grammar locks. Then paragraph is in nothing. You can very easily write paragraphs. Okay. I hope you all practice very nicely. Thank you.